Hello, everyone. Welcome to Your Self-Inquiry. I'm Sana Carpelati, lifechangingenergytherapies.com. And today we're going to be talking about a very simple process that you can do every day or whenever you think about it to help you stay connected to yourself and what you need, especially through these challenging times. I'm also really excited that I have this wonderful new platform to use called StreamYard. It's very intuitive and it seems to be working so far. So I'm like really excited about this possibility. So I want to welcome my friend Suzanne. Hi, Suzanne.
Hi.
How are you?
Doing well, holding steady.
Thank you. I'm glad you could be here with me today. I know it was rather impromptu because, like as I said, I was looking for a new format rather than the Facebook Lives, which I don't know, I've had trouble with them, as simple as they can be, but this is a really intuitive platform and easy. I can just press a button.
I'm so excited to learn about a new technology. I've never heard of this, so it's great.
Yeah, and with you being a cyber teacher with the PA Cyber.
It's not PA Cyber, it's called PA Distance Learning. And it's a smaller cyber school than PA Cyber, but this is like my natural state here, interacting via the computer and video. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Susannah and I we've been friends for a long time. She's a fellow yoga teacher, and I actually took a lot of your classes before I had become a teacher, which was in 2014.
That's right.
And then a lot from you.
Yeah, and just a little quick fact: we first met doing a family constellation workshop in 2009 with Mark Wallin. And that's where I first met you, but didn't really know you until you started coming to yoga to my class. Yes.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Wow, that's good. Yeah, I think it was that year I went through the training, the constellation training too. Mm-hmm. So it must have been right before I entered the training.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
So how are you doing through all of this quarantine and information?
I feel like I was thinking about that. I like to self-reflect a lot, and I feel most of the time I feel like I'm doing really well. I'm also aware that I have a stable job still, and that's a big part of it. I don't have financial worries right now. But overall, I feel pretty calm most of the time. But then another part of me is like, you're tense at a certain level, Susannah.
How can you be calm?
How can this not affect you? And it really does. It has affected me, and I kind of wax and wane throughout the day with different feelings. It goes from, I'll have a little bit of anxiety if I see a headline, and then I'll remember some tools I have, and I'll be able to calm down. So.
Well, I think that's an important piece of it because I noticed myself too. For the most part, I'm managing and doing well, but then I find myself kind of getting off kilter a little bit, and having some tools and things to do to help yourself, whether it's, talk to my husband or to just go and have some alone time or say a prayer or breathe.
Yes.
Whatever it is that I need, and the other piece of it is sometimes we just need to be in that state as well. Allowing ourselves to kind of move with what's happening until we decide otherwise. And that's what I'm hoping to do with the self-inquiry technique here today is to kind of teach you something that I teach clients, as well as something that I do every day for myself. And it helps me to not only stay grounded and centered, but also to tune in to what's happening in the here and now. So it's kind of like a mindfulness technique where it's like what's happening within these aspects of myself right this minute.
When do you do that? Like when is the best time for you to do that kind of self-inquiry?
Um, I don't have a best time. I think it depends on your schedule and what can work for you, and to be flexible enough at the beginning to try different things. An example would be some people like to do things like this first thing in the morning or when they go to bed. What I like to do, or when they feel like they're really struggling, or even when they feel calm. But for me, I'm not sure what triggers it, but something kicks in for me to just take a breath, to sit back from whatever it is that I'm working on, whether it's domestic or work or otherwise, and just do a little self reflection or inquiry to see what's happening right now. How am I in 4 aspects of self? And there may be a few other ones that we can take a look at here today as well.
Yeah, I'm curious to know what those aspects are.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you think about the self,
Mm-hmm.
we have the body, the physical body, and within the physical body, we have all sorts of sensations and different levels of energy and posturing and activities that we engage in. So when you think about the body, I mean, you're focusing on this vehicle through which we live.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it can be anything at all, from pain to being aware of how a system is functioning.
Mm-hmm.
It could feel scattered or tense in some way. You might notice, pain in a certain area. You might feel caged in,
Oh,
or
yeah.
uh, or even like disconnected, because when anxiety goes up, it's easy to kind of vacate the body, and the heart rate starts going up. We're not
Mm-hmm.
breathing, into the body. So the body is one. Another one is our intellect or our mind. Um, and that's basically, how we're thinking, the
Mm-hmm.
content of our thoughts, the speed at which we're thinking, um, the views, the beliefs that we have, judgments, a certain theme that we might notice.
Mm-hmm.
Then the other is our emotional status. So you might have, I mean, there's so many different feelings that one can have, but what you might find is that you, especially through time, is that you might find that you get stuck in a certain pattern,
Yes.
motion.
That's what I have been feeling. Like it's easiest for me to start with my body and just say what am I feeling right now? And usually my default when I get anxious is it feels almost like clamped down, like my heart, this area right here, I can tell has a lot of tension, and I hold my breath more. And so starting there, I'm like, okay, you're not 100% calm all the time, Susannah. Just look at your body.
Right,
So,
right. Well, and the body is that vehicle. I mean, it holds what what we don't often want to take a look at emotionally, or
Yes.
even intellectually in terms of how we're thinking and the content of our thoughts. So some people might, feel stuck or depressed or even playful. But, what I find is that sometimes when, this is just normally is when a family has, let's say a family's gone through a difficult time, and like I might feel happy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, how can I be happy when my family's suffering? So how
Yes.
can I be happy in my home when the world is suffering?
Right. That's a very interesting thing.
Right. So
Like,
we become loyal to pain.
oh,
And
very
then,
interesting.
yeah, and sometimes that has family history, and we learn that through the constellation work, is that those things become a part of the family system too.
Yeah.
How we live and breathe into our lives, and if there's a parameter around happiness or
Hmm.
pain, that we can't be too happy here.
That's so interesting.
Well, and it's not just a sign of the times. I mean, I find this,
Right.
with my clients as well.
Hmm.
So then the other aspect is spirit, which
Hmm.
is essentially who we are. And I'm not referring to, um, like a certain religion or anything like that. This is our life force energy
Hmm.
that that says we're alive, that
Yeah.
I'm here
Yeah.
today, now. Okay, so if you have the idea or the belief that it is eternal, that it is uh, that we are present here on a temporary basis, and then we expand outward upon death, or whatever it is that you believe, you know, according to your religious dictates.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
those are the four aspects that we're going to look at and do here in a moment. Um,
What can I just ask you one other question?
yeah, sure.
So I know we're going to work through this, but what I find that I'm kind of wired to problem solve, to do something about, what I'm noticing. Like, oh, I feel tense. I'm going to go for a walk. That'll help me feel better. And it actually might help me feel better. But
Mhm.
are do we always have to do something when we notice these things?
I would say no.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, because keep in mind, I mean, this activity is for you to tune in with where you are right now, like
Mm-hmm.
this moment, and it's constantly changing. It's very fluid. If I were to do it in 10 minutes, I might notice something else, which is why I always suggest, if you want to learn about yourself, to use a journal. And
Mm-hmm.
now I'm all about being simple and fast, because like once I know I'm talking right now, we're having this wonderful conversation, and I'm going to talk you through this. But when I do it myself, I'm talking a minute. It takes me to kind of move through this experience.
Yes.
Uh, so all you have to do is and we're going to do this in a second here, is just tune in, and I'm going to ask you some specific questions. Like you mentioned, the emotional aspect. Like for example, with that piece, see, wait, I wanted to go back because I wanted to say this earlier. So
Yeah.
we have intellect, we have the body, we have the emotions and spirit. I'm just going to push that aside here, because
Okay.
spirit is always present.
Yes.
And so the intellect and the emotional part, uh, we learned this a long time ago in doing hypnotherapy stuff and alchemy work, where sometimes you might say, I feel really sad. Well, so my question, not always, but sometimes, is how old do you feel right now?
Yeah, I love that question.
Because you might think, geez, like I might feel like I'm 8 years old.
Yes.
which kind of indicates that there's a pattern here.
Mhm.
It could be because of the stress. It could be just a way of responding to certain kinds of situations.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so if you keep a journal, you'll be able to see through time if there's a certain pattern or a theme that uh, that that you're going to notice that kind of gets presented.
Yes.
So the other piece of it, if you have these mind, body, intellect, and even the social aspect, if you are a problem solver, okay, so your intellect may take over,
Yeah.
okay, where you're not aware that your body's messaging you.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
like, Susannah, stop. You don't need to do that
Right.
now.
Right.
This isn't for you to do.
Right.
Does
It's,
does
you
that
know
make
what?
sense?
Yeah, it does. And also just shifting the language a bit from solving a problem to just getting curious about
Exactly.
what's going on. That's curious. What might I need at this moment? You know?
Right. Well, and see, and that's the thing when you do this is to allow yourself to be right where you are. It's not about judgment or criticism or, geez, I'm feeling sad again. I should not be doing that. What
Yes.
it's your body, your system is talking to you. And
Mhm.
sometimes those pattern responses can help you to get to know yourself a little bit and also what you need to do, if anything.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And yeah, it kind of just one quick thing I thought of just because I got to get a yoga thing in here. But it reminds me of how at the beginning and the end of class, we just don't do anything but bring awareness to different parts of our body. And just by bringing awareness, sometimes things do shift just by bringing a little bit of awareness to it.
You're absolutely right. Because sometimes if I just say, I feel sad,
Hmm.
I feel sadness right now, and having even just stating that to somebody else can change the whole experience that you're
Oh,
having.
totally.
Or if you journal about it.
Yes.
And, I do, like I said, recommend a journal, but this isn't about writing page after page about something.
Exactly.
I mean, that's a whole different thing.
Mhm.
When you write down, okay, Sunday, whatever the date is today, I'm disoriented. Date and time.
We don't know which end is up. What day it
Yeah, so if I do Sunday, March 30th, then okay, intellect, body, emotion, spirit, just put a couple of words there.
Yes.
Curious and interested, or dull and no energy, feeling
Yeah.
down. Just keep it simple.
Yeah, I
Keep it
like that
simple.
so much.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't have to take hours and hours to
No,
process things.
no, because then you're not going to do it. You may do it.
Yes,
And
exactly.
this activity, no matter what's happening out there, it can give you an opportunity to just check in here and say, okay, what do I need? Sometimes it's I need to step away. Sometimes I need to engage. Sometimes there's something else, if anything.
Yes.
So allowing yourself to be where you are is so important. Tuning in to now.
That's awesome.
Do you have any other questions you think that could be helpful?
Well, I think I covered questions that I had. I'm kind of ready to try it.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
So I'm just going to talk you through it. And again, when you do it at home, you can just move through these different aspects and just, ask yourself, how am I?
Mhm.
How do I feel right now? So I'm just going to start with your emotions. And if you want to just sit down and sit, you're already sitting. Close your eyes if you
Okay.
want. You don't have to. Okay. And just tune in to your emotions right now. And if everybody out there can just follow along with me and Susannah, and that would be great. So just tune into your emotions and notice what emotion you have. How are you?
Well, right now I feel excited and happy to connect with you.
Good. I like that. Okay. So how old do you feel, if that's relevant?
I actually feel a little bit of a teenager.
Okay.
Believe it or not. Yes, that's interesting.
Okay. So that connection with other people. So what are you learning as a result of that? What's important to you?
That I like doing this. That this is something I like doing. Connecting with people, learning new things, and talking about it.
Okay. Good. Okay. And intellect. How are you in your intellect? And sometimes you don't have to answer really quickly.
Yeah,
Sometimes we just have to sit with ourselves and to allow it to be present, because sometimes self-awareness is not on our radar. Okay, so just kind of
yes.
with your intellect, because I'm sensing it's kind of powerful for you.
Well, the intellect, it's interesting because um, when I was kind of doing this, we had talked a little bit before, and I was thinking about that's my stuck place. Like, I don't know why I can't describe my intellect.
Okay, so how about just say no words for now?
No words for now.
Yeah, so again, I want to go back to keeping it simple.
Okay.
Okay, because it's easy to get into the story of it. And
Yes,
the
yes.
whole idea of this activity is to just just think about, okay, what's happening.
Right now.
I'm blank.
I'm blank. Yeah, with the intellect part.
Okay, okay, and you might think about, well, what is that telling you?
It's at this time telling me that it's okay. It's actually okay because I am feeling sort of this playful, curious feeling. So it's almost like I know my intellect's. I know you said keep it simple. The hardest thing for me to do, but it's okay. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
it's okay in
Okay,
this.
all
Yeah.
right. Okay, so now tune into your body. How are you? How is your body? What is it telling you?
It's feeling zingy. Like usually I can feel it heart, arms, fingers. I'm feeling more freedom than I was earlier today. I'll
Give me 2 words.
okay. Zingy is the best that I can come up with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Zingy. Okay.
So basically, yeah.
Okay. So
Move.
what is that suggesting to you?
It's suggesting to me that uh, I'm I for me knowing earlier from today, it feels like freed up. It feels freed up.
And what is it that you can learn from that situation?
Um, I can learn that uh, I I change, and
Okay.
things can change,
Okay.
and things do change.
Okay. Yeah. Just stay right there. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now, okay, just take a big breath in and exhale and tune in with your spiritual self, your life energy. And one of the things that we know about a spirit is that it's where our wisdom resides, our resilience, our strength, our connection to a deity or a god. So as you tune into that and how you feel it, and it can be different for everyone. For me, it's whole bodied.
Hmm.
I always feel very expansive when I focus on spirit. Okay, some people feel it in the heart center or around the navel or even the sternum. So it can be, and it can be different every day.
Yeah.
And so, okay, as you put your attention there, okay, hold it there and ask yourself, ask spirit, what is it that you need to know or understand about your life? Like, allow a message to come forward.
Can I share?
If it's okay with you, that's up to you.
It's not super well formed, but first, the feeling in my heart is that's where I normally feel it. I feel it in my feet, and I also get imagery sometimes, and I got an image of a sunflower up here,
Mhm.
and so that to me is just this is I think the message for me, at least right now, is that um, the cycle of life, that the, this too shall pass, the coming up, and every year it blooms, it bears fruit, and then it it dies and goes to the earth, and then it blooms again the next year. And for me, that imagery is really important.
Mhm. Okay, so that can be an image that you carry forward whenever you notice yourself kind of going off and allowing yourself to replay that for yourself because that's a very potent kind of recycling sort of image that
Yes.
um, uh, can be very helpful to you.
Yeah, especially when I feel stuck in a belief or an attitude, and like it makes me remember this will shift, because usually there's a layer of you shouldn't be feeling this way.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, and that's really important to not negate or deny yourself.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
because there's always a step where you could say, well, what do I need? What can I do? What do I need to learn about what I'm experiencing right now?
right.
And sometimes we don't have the answers to that immediately, but when you connect to spirit, it's kind of like that anchor for us that you can see how you can apply that image and that language to these other aspects of your life.
Yes, that
Okay.
is wonderful.
Okay. So do you have any other questions?
Um, I think I am good. There was just one other question that I'll just put out there. Are there any other areas? So you've mentioned body, my intellect, emotion, spirit. Are there any other things, while we're, kind of homebound these days, that we can be noticing and paying attention to?
That's a very good question. I would say social needs.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I try, so I try to have a conversation with a friend every day or a family member to stay connected to what's happening out there, especially, with somebody who's working in the front lines in a hospital. Uh, I also take a look at domestic things. What have I maybe been neglecting, um, and why? And what is that saying to me? What's important? So I think that, and also, just tuning into money, work related things, because I think that this experience, at least for me, it has helped to shift priorities, in terms of how much is enough. um,
Yes.
and so forth. So I'm really rethinking so many things in my own personal life because of this experience.
I
Um,
yeah, I think this is I've heard this from a lot of people, including myself, that it really gives us a literal pause
yeah,
to I mean, we can't not face ourselves.
right, right. This is a time to reset because
Mhm.
we get to choose how we're going to move through this and how we're going to land on the other side. Of course, we want to stay well and follow, the things that we know about and that can keep us reasonably safe and as safe as
Yes.
possible. Um,
Yeah.
so I think that's as self-care, I think is also really important of doing something for yourself every day.
Mhm.
And you can also look at it in those areas. Like for me, I have to do physical things every day.
Yes.
And, intellectually, I've been reading more, um, emotionally, talking to, certain people about things.
Mhm.
And spiritually, just doing some breath work and prayer work and allowing myself to connect with my authenticity as much as I can. And what I've discovered is this authenticity is really an experience that is human. It's not just
Yes.
about being calm and
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I agree.
so anyway, I think this is probably a really good time to start to stop. I'm
Yes.
Sana Carpellotti, Life Changing Energy Therapies, or sanacarpellotti.com. I help people with any life struggle very quickly. And this is my good friend, Susannah Azzaro, and she's a yoga teacher and cyber school teacher and a very good friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I'll see
Bye-bye.
everybody tomorrow for accessing ancestral strength.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good night. Bye bye.